Hello everyone and welcome back to CXRL. We are back with race weekend number 3 with race number 4, a little bit confusing there, of the Modern Hot Hatch Championship. Today we'll be at Catalunya National Circuit for 25 laps. And I realized there was a mistake on the last race. I put the grid order for this race on that race on accident. So this is the current order for this race. BattleBot, Spools, Big Fresh Bagel, Toasty Broski, Death Roll, Venom, GameStopper, Epic Tommy, Coinsy, Decado Man, Juicebox, Bomber, Ricey, and Ghost in Me. I apologize for my mistake in the last race. So let's get things started, shall we? And this is going to be a endurance style race, so everyone will have to make one pit stop, and we're starting the formation lap here as everyone starts to get going. We finally have 3 POVs. We have Coin in the top left, in the top right we have GameStopper, and in the bottom right we have Ghost in Me, who's new to the server. This is his first race here. He's going to be in the Ford Focus, so we'll see how he handles this first mini endurance event in this championship. There's one pit stop required for this race, so we'll see how everybody's able to handle this. It's going to be an interesting race. Last 2 races was awesome. We had some great battles, some great hijinks. The championship's been really interesting so far, so we'll see how this the third to final race, because next weekend there will be 2 final sprint races to finish off the entire championship. So those will be interesting, but this race is even more critical because this race is rewarding full points, which means it's more important to score high, because if you score high here, it can kind of tell you, hey, you're guaranteed high amounts of points, but on a sprint weekend, you might not do well on a sprint weekend. So if you can ensure full points here and score solid during the half-point races, you might be able to have a good good points left. And here we are on to the final few corners. Oh my goodness! Huge shunt in the back of the grid. Ghost in Me got shunted by Dakota Man or Venom. I'm not exactly sure who shunted him, but I think they're backing out of the race, and it looks like they're still forming up for the restart. Little confused of what's happening here, because now Ghost is going into the pits, and I guess we're going green. We already have our first DNF, I believe, and we're going for the start. As Ghost is pulling into the pits, and they're going for the green, and we are green at Barcelona, and we're going to friggin' the start. This is crazy, and we have Coin getting passed by all of the Clios. Insane stuff here as we go into turn 1. Really confused with what's going on in the start strategy here. Also, GameStopper rocking a new car. They've decided to go with the Renault Clio for this race. A bunch of mayhem on the first lap. Everyone's bunched up and battling. A little kerfuffle in the race stewards. Confusion on the start, and oh my goodness, what a battle up in front. There's arrows everywhere on GameStopper. He's not being left alone. What a crazy little start battle. GameStopper is fighting for his position valiantly, and Coin's going to go off and let Ricey and Venom pass, as Ghost of Me is slowing down. I'm not sure exactly what's happening. I think we're debating a red flag here. The stewards are voting on it now, or deciding, because that should have been an aborted start. Here we go, Coin on Death Row Toll. We're still green. It's taking a while to make this decision. GameStopper getting challenged by, it looks like, Juicebox from behind, and we're red flagging the race due to the improper starting procedures. Everybody's going to back out to the lobby, and we will restart the race. Interesting decision. It took a while. Maybe there's some confusion with communication, because normally that would have been an immediate abort start and they would have just gone for another lap. Interesting. Well, this means we get another chance to have another first lap commotion. And there's a little drama about one of our players' tunes, which will resolve the incident after the race, but leave us be for the intermission while we wait for the restart. And here we are coming off of the red flag to the restart. We're redoing the formation lap. The track is now green as we start the formation lap. We're not going green racing yet, but here we are. Take 2 for the formation lap of this race. What a crazy start to a... That was just weird. I don't think the aborted start procedure was not carried out properly. That start would have been aborted immediately, but it was so late in the lap. And there was some communication errors with the people involved. Luckily, we avoided a DNF, a double DNF almost. And here we are on the formation lap to start up this endurance race once more. We have an interesting grid here today. Spools on the front of the grid. It's going to be an interesting race. In the past races, we've seen the Renault Clios really take off and run away with these races. I'm really interested to see how this race plays out. Because this track is a bit different than the rest. It's a longer lap. There's a lot more corners. But at the same time, there's a lot of straightaways for these Renault Clios to just absolutely dominate the field. GameStopper ditched coin for the Clio. There's only one Mercedes on the grid now, as they're coming through the final chicanes to get ready for the restart. It's technically the race start, but it's a restart because we already did a start. So, yeah, here they go. They're forming up and bunching up, getting into formation 2 wide. Spools is leading the start to the line. If this was an aborted start, we would have already been racing by now. They just would have gone around. But here we go. We're almost to the line. Move this closest. And we are green at Catalunya National Circuit. Here we go. Oh my god, the chaos down the front straightaway. Almost 4 wide for a second there into turn 1. Here comes some more chaos. Actually, it's pretty tame. Nothing much is happening 3 wide. Oh my goodness, GameStopper's in the thick of that. All of the Clios up front just taking over the race. That's a lot of Clios. Holy moly, that's a lot of Clios. And here we go. Ghost just passing Death Row Tool with some relative ease. And here we go into the fast right-hander. And now there's going to be a little bit of a tap of the brakes. And somebody's wide. Somebody's wide. It's GameStopper. GameStopper's wide. And it's going to get passed by most of the Clios. And here comes Ghost. Maybe getting a pass. Nope. Coin is up at the front, almost the front of the pack. The only person who's in the top 5 who's not in a Clio. The Renault Clios are dominating this championship by a huge margin. They are ridiculously quick in this championship. It's very hard to compete. And here we go, rounding out the first lap. Not too much action now. Everything's kind of settling down and spreading itself out. Ooh, big lockup and huge wheel spin out of the slower corners from Ghost. Doesn't look like that Focus is getting the traction in the front that it should be. And that's the end of lap 1, and seems like things are going to calm down. We don't have any footage from the front, but all the Clios are battling it out currently. We have Spools, Bomber, Dakota, Juicebox, all up front, with Coin following not too far behind, but still not in any contention for the positions. GameStopper with an unfortunate start, went a little bit wide out of this corner, lost a few positions to the other Clios. Ghost not too far behind GameStopper currently. Which seems like that Focus is more acceleration based out of the corners than in, because it's struggling through the longer fast corners in a huge lockup. Goodness gracious, that back left on that Focus just putting up the smoke screen for the drivers behind. I guess it's a defense tactic. and the Renault Clios are slowly taking away from the pack. There was discussion about banning the Clios, but it was so late in the season, there was no reason to. Now, you can change cars if there's a meta car that you want to change to, but at the penalty that you will take a, whoa, goodness gracious, and GameStopper pulls into the pits on so early in the race. That's crazy. Early pit strategy, not going to try and dabble in a safety car. Is just going to get the pit right out of the way. Is going to have an open track to just hot lap. This coin's not too far behind the Clios. Still holding on pretty okay. She had an engine swap for her car. Swapped it to a V6, so it's making a bit more power and a bit more torque, but at a weight penalty. GameStopper getting out of the pits. GameStopper changing to the Clio means that he's going to take home half points from this race, which is actually going to be a bigger hit than I think he realized, because he's going to get half points for this race and half points for the next two races because they're both sprint races. Granted, everyone's going to get half points, but these are some critical points here. Grid is slowly spacing out as things start to calm down. I mean, calm down. Things are just beginning to get crazy. Wish we had a POV from closer up front. I believe Juicebox can stream? I just haven't really... I think he streams to YouTube, which wouldn't work for this, unfortunately. For how I do this. But anyways, on to lap 5. There's a bit of a big gap between each group here. The Clios are pulling away, and the bottom of the grid is kind of, everyone's kind of divided themselves into their own groups. Specifically, GameStopper, who's just all alone and is just cruising. He doesn't have to worry about battling, catching people times. He's just, what he has to do now is set consistent laps, consistent enough to catch people, to get close to them, and then when people have to pit, he's going to gain positions really easily, actually. Now, the only problem is when they pit. If they pit later in the race, either they're going to pull away enough that he's not going to be able to catch them, or he's going to get in front of them and be able to defend for the rest of the race. So we'll see what happens. He does look a lot more comfortable in that Clio than in the Mercedes. I think the all-wheel drive is getting a little finicky with him, I'm not sure. Ooh, Coin running a little bit wide out of the final corner. Yeah, you can just see how much faster the Renault Clios are on the map. They're just gapping Coin by miles. The midfield is pretty bunched up still. Well, the back of the field. It's not really the mid. There's the front and the back, and I don't mean to be rude, but that's kind of how it's divided right now. I wonder why that Focus is doing so many burnouts. Like, I don't know if he's just running thinner tires on it, or there's a weird diff setup. But like every slow corner it goes to me tries to get out of, there's just a smoke screen coming up from the Focus. Which, I mean, if the car seems to be handling okay, they seem to have a good hold of it. So I mean, as long as it's handling okay, let's watch here. Let's see what happens. Huh. It wasn't under power. It looked like it kind of just locked up, or I don't know. That's kind of weird. Well, anyways, we're not going to judge people's builds. As long as it works for them and you're having fun, that is more than okay. I was just curious why there was a smoke screen coming up. It didn't look like he was locking the brakes, because it was like, as he turned into the corner, it would start to smoke. I don't know if that's just a game bug. It's a little weird. Not too much action from the POVs we can see currently, as Everyone still has to pit in this entire race, except for GameStopper, who is maybe running the masterclass strategy. We'll see how this plays out. He's in 10th, and goodness gracious, he might be getting lapped soon from how fast those other Clios are. But he's not, he's only 9 seconds behind the guy ahead, and everyone is still yet to pit, and the pits are about 30. Woo! Coin running wide out of that corner. That was close. The pits are around 30 to 40 seconds. I believe they're 30 on this track. I could be wrong. It all depends on how fast you get, or, well, how confident you are getting into the pit lane, because while most Forza pit lanes you can just chuck it in, there are a few that you actually have to think. Like, this pit lane, you have to really slow. Oh, speaking of the pit lane, Coin's going in. You can't just floor it in. I mean, you can go across the green. And what is she doing? She's going into her settings. I think it was an early pit stop for a setting change, possibly. It looks like Ghostamine might be able to take advantage of this early pit stop from Coin and gain a position into 5th. Yeah, look at that. Ghostamine is going to move up to 5th. Still yet to pit, though. But GameStopper might be able to get this position. I think it might be a little bit too far back. We'll see. Yeah, GameStopper is going to be rolling down the straightaway and is just going to slot in behind. And Coin gets passed by Reisky and Venom. No, it's Death Row Toll. Death Row Toll and Venom. My apologies. That's going to put Coin in some traffic now for the rest of the race, which is... Hopefully she'll be able to deal with the traffic, but we'll see. Traffic is not necessarily meaning the slow cars. It means that you're just going to be battling with somebody. And it's tricky to battle with somebody. Oh, and here we go. Coin making quick work of Death Row Toll with the little mistake he made going into the corner. And here we go. She has a Venom and Reisky just ahead. And we'll see if she has the pace advantage or not to be able to catch up. GameStopper's still just chilling. Cruising. All those cars ahead of him still have to pit except for Coin now. So that's one position he might not be able to gain an advantage from. But duly note, he is catching up to them. And Coin is also catching up to the duo of Venom and Reisky ahead. So going into the back straight, they both make an interesting move. And Coin's just going to snap to the right of Reisky. And it's going to slot between them, right behind Venom. And into the first corner they go. Let's see what happens here. Coin brave on the brakes. Look how much... Woo! Looks like Venom got punted by Reisky there under brakes. I'm not sure what happened there. Coin, much braver on the brakes, makes a massive lunge. And is going to take the position back from Venom. Venom and Reisky both still having to pit. And here comes... Whoa! Wrong camera. And here comes GameStopper catching up to Death Row Toll, catching up to the rest of the pack here. Let's see if that Clio is able to make quick work of that Civic. Here we go, probably into the hairpin. Death Row Toll's going to move across and take his line, and GameStopper's going to go for the inside. Ooh, very, very hard on the brakes, and it's just going to make the move stick, but it looks like Death Row Toll's going to come back on the inside. The next corner is a little bit tricky. Is he going to stay there? He is going to stay there, but he's going to back up, and he's not going to have a much... Whoa, the switchback move! Death Row Toll's going to try and set it up on the inside, but GameStopper just keeps that door shut. He opened it a little bit, and Death Row Toll was going to get a bite of that. Also, Venom not too far behind Coin still, just barely holding on. Whoa, and it looks like GameStopper made a little bit of a mistake into the chicane, but Death Row Toll's not able to make much of it. As they come back onto the out of the final corner and onto the front straight to round out to lap 10. Still, 10 out of 26 laps. This means everybody still has to pit except for Coin and GameStopper. I think the Renault gang up front, the top four, are not worried about being lapped or undercut by Coin or GameStopper at this point. But the rest of the grid should be shaking in their boots. They should be shivering in their timbers because GameStopper and Coin are making their way through the grid even after pitting. Ooh, and Coin's going to get a little bit into the grass and it's going to turn that Mercedes into a lawnmower. Pretty clean race so far. We haven't seen much of the Clio gang. Because we don't have a POV from them, unfortunately. Spoles has been leading the race almost the entire race. And here comes GameStopper catching up to Reisky. And Venom not too far ahead, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. Ghost just sitting a comfortable 5th. It's kind of chilling. It's really weird the way that car smokes. I'm not sure if it's a glitch or something's wrong with the tune. As it gets major understeer off power, which is usually something. It's a weird setup because the car is gonna it seems to oversteer a little bit on power, but also understeer a lot. It is an all-wheel drive car, so do give that a thought. It's an interesting setup. It nukes the rear right, which kind of gives me the feeling that the suspension is a bit soft in that car. I don't know, it's weird. It's like it's going on 3 wheels, and yeah, you know what? I think that's what's happening, is one of the wheels gets lifted up when it's under hard steering load, and it's just spinning it, and it kind of opens the diff up. And look at this, GameStopper catching up to Reisky. Reisky is still yet to pit. Here comes GameStopper on that Ford Focus. That little Clio is determined to make up some ground after struggling in the past few races. Well, not struggling. He placed really well in... Well, actually, you know what? He didn't score points at Sebring, and he finished in 6th, I think, in Homestead. So what a lunge! What a lunge in the brakes! That was brave, and he makes it. He makes the move. Without question, he made that swift and easy. You can tell, like, which drivers have a bit more... Ooh, Coin running wide out of that corner again. It's the 2nd time this race. Wonder if track limits will come into question at any point in this race. But, woo! Coin hitting the tire barrier. Surprised she didn't take any damage from that. Also, Reisky coming back at GameStopper, but still a little bit too far away to make any moves happen. Sorry, I remapped all my hotkeys because I was having issues with my number pad that I was using, and Coin's hopping into the pits. Coin is back in the pits, and GameStopper's gonna make up a position. Gonna pass Coin in the pits. I wonder if she felt damage in the car, or who else is in the pits. Who's in the pit? Who else is in the pits? Oh, Venom is in the pits as well. A Coin is going to slide all the way to the... almost all the way to the back from that. So, very interesting situation. I don't know why she pitted again. And she's pulling off to the side of the track. She's relatively out of the way, so I don't... Dakota Man also pitting. She's relatively out of the way, so I'm not sure that this will bring out a caution, but really bizarre. She's still moving. Okay, she has stopped rolling now. Wonder if she's having connection issues or something? That is a really bizarre one. At least she's out of the way. Nope, and she's moving again. I'm wondering what happened there. GameStopper sitting in a solid 6th place now. Now, Coin is put all the way at the back, pitting twice. She has a little over half race distance. Actually, no, less than half. This is half race distance, I think. um, to bring this back. She has to bring it home. Gonna make. She has a lot of work to do. Now she's not gonna battle with any of the Cleos. I can tell you that for damn certain. But somebody hopped into the bits. I did not catch who it was. I think it was Dakota or Bomber. I may have mixed them up earlier. It's kind of hard to see from these perspectives. This is an interesting race we have going on here. Coin is on the comeback story. Well, hopefully the comeback story of a lifetime here. She will still score points. I believe you score points up to 15th if you finish. Anything below that, you do not score points. So there's still a... Like, when we have a bigger grid, there's still a reason to finish and battle back there for the final points to try and get faster. Oh my goodness, who just ran off there? Oh, it was just a bug. It was a little glitch. We have people from all over the world, so that is to be expected. The server is very diverse, and I like that. We have people from essentially ranging from the United States to Australia, and a good bit of stuff in between. It's really awesome to see how many people, like, from different regions you got racing. And a lot of people who are racing with us stay up or wake up ridiculously early or late to race with us. And I just gotta say, I really appreciate the dedication some of you all have for us. It does not go underlooked. Now the race is kind of calmed down now. Everyone's kind of spread out. I think mostly everyone has pitted at this point. I could be wrong. I think maybe a top driver hasn't. But a majority of the grid has pitted. Everything's calmed down. It usually does this towards this point in the race. But things are only just beginning. Because this is the phase where people are going to be either starting to really push to catch the car ahead, or they're going to make mistakes, fall off of the pace. Speaking of catching the car ahead, is Coin taking an interesting little rally line there. Is Coin catching up to Venom? Or is that the lapped Cleo, well, the Cleo that lapped her? Not sure. She is definitely running out of track. Slowly but surely running out of track to make any progress. This is not a super long endurance race like Brands Hatch was. Brands Hatch was a solid endurance race, but this one I believe is only about 35 minutes. Now, excuse me for a minute, I'm going to have to mute, but I'm going to keep the commentary going, and I will come back if anything exciting happens. Alright, I am back. Sorry about that. I apologize. And we're back to racing. As we have a disconnect, I believe Death Rotul or Juice? Was it Juice? There was 2 disconnects this race. Well, I spoiled something, but somebody disconnected, and now GameStopper is up into 5th position. Ooh, big lockup, deep on the brakes from Ghost and Me. Ghost and Me still yet to pit, but still holding 4th place. And GameStopper is catching, though. Wondering what the gap is. Oh, he can see him. And it looks like, no, Death Row Tool just pitted, so they did not disconnect yet. Here's going to be an interesting battle. GameStopper on Ghost and Me. GameStopper's been catching him for a few laps now as Ghost and Me makes a bit of a mistake out of the hairpin. Well, kind of hairpin. It's a hairpin-ish corner. And GameStopper has him in his sights. And Coin is still really far behind. Like, significantly far behind. I don't think she's going to have enough track to make up any positions here. Well, we'll see. But also, here goes Ghost into the pits, so we're not going to see a battle between GameStopper and Ghost, but GameStopper is going to increase a position to 4th. This is a really good outcome for GameStopper. Switching to the Clio in the early pit was a good strategy. Now, here's the question. Is Coin going to be able to catch Ghost and Me out of the pits as Reisky moves up to 5th position as Ghost and Me comes out of the pits, approaching traffic. This might get a little hairy. Oh, and he just crosses the pit entry line. That's normally not a penalty, but might be a penalty if done repeatedly in a race. Luckily, usually it's not going to be anything big unless there's somebody like right on you. And here comes Spools, lapping Ghost and Me, just like that. Snap of his fingers, and he's gone. GameStopper. Oh, we had another disconnect. Yeah, that was Juicebox to disconnect. We only have 8 cars left. GameStopper in 4th. Still. As here comes Coin on the hunt, catching up to Venom. With only a few laps to go, she has to really push the shit out of that car. Excuse me for my language. Now here comes Ghost and Me on Reisky. Looks like he's slowly closing the gap. Little by little. So we come on to lap 20 out of 26. Only 6 laps remaining to get things done. Oh, and there's tires all over the track. Somebody hit the pit wall. I would be like, not gonna name any names, but I literally don't know who did it, and it's not a big deal. The final few stages of the race. Oh, and here comes Bomber lapping Ghost and Me. That was a cool pass there. Oh, locks up the brakes a little bit. Almost got into the back of him. But all is well. Oh, Coin running into the sand out of the fast corner. It is so easy to run wide there and on the grass a little bit. Especially with the all-wheel drive car because it has so much grip. It can just... It's not going to get thrown off balance or anything by a little bit of grass. You can just power it through and you'll be all good. Coin using as much of the track limits as possible to try and get any little advantage of the track as she can to catch up to Venom. She only has 6 laps remaining, almost 5 now. People are going to get a little desperate to make moves. Opportunities will come and go if you don't take them. Show luck. Oh! Wait. When did... What happened to Reisky? Oh. He's behind Coin. What? I have no clue what happened to Reisky. I thought... I guess I missed it. It's behind Coin now. Okay. Interesting. Now Coin is going after Venom, and I think Ghost in Me is just kind of chilling. This Game Stopper's pulling away. Tremendous speed, and look at this. Coin reeling in her prey as she does, and Venom pulls to the right? Well, that was kind of a pathetic duel. I was expecting that lap after lap chase to battle it out to the end, or to see who lasts the longest, but nope, Venom just gave up. Fair play, I guess? Anyways, Coin has moved up a position, and now has... Who does she have in her sights? Ghost in Me in her sights. Ooh, Ghost in Me making a little bit of a mistake there. Didn't mean to switch to you right then. I don't think she's going to be able to catch Ghost in Me. For how little race is left and how far the gap is currently, I don't think it's possible. GameStopper running a tremendous race, living in his own world between the faster Cleos and the rest of the group, essentially. The Cleo gang is once again going to dominate all the top places. Those Cleos are unstoppable. Essentially, if you're not in a Cleo in this championship, you're just fighting for points against other people who are not in Cleos. I think Coin is slowly catching him. I could be wrong. It's a little hard to tell from this POV because I can't see the times exactly. I need like a big 4K TV so I can see every detail on these screens. I could be... I think it'd be pretty cool. I do have a 4K TV. I could just hook it up to my laptop and record from that. That'd be cool. It's crafty. Oh, wow. The gap between Coin and Ghost is come down a lot more than I thought it has. Like, it's still pretty significant, but I thought it was like half a track length, and now it's maybe a quarter. They have only 3 laps left to go. This could get very intense. It's so tense you can cut it with a knife. It's also more of a you wait and sit kind of tense. I wish I could like engage you all with some of those Amazon prediction to attack things or that they have in like F1. But I'm not that fancy yet. We'll hopefully get there in the future. And we're running out lap 24 out of 26. Coin is definitely closer, but still not that close. There's still a lot of distance between her and Ghost. Ghost having a solid performance for their first race here. In solid places. Top 5 is really good. Especially for your first race. Hey, even if you gain a position because somebody crashed or disconnect, well, mainly crashed, if somebody crashes out and you gain a position, you shouldn't feel crappy about it because you think you're slower. You managed to stay on the track better than they did. So just keep that in mind. Wow, this gap is coming down. It's getting a lot smaller. Every lap. It's getting dangerously close. Into the final chicane. Ghost getting out of the final chicane as Coin gets into the final chicane. As I believe Bomber and Spools are starting their final lap at this point almost. I have no clue where they are. They might be on their final lap already. They're so far ahead of the group. We have 2 laps remaining. 25 out of 26. And this gap is coming down slower. Well, it's coming closer and closer. A battle between Coin and Ghost. Is she going to make anything able to happen here? Oh, and it looks like Ghost is going to run a little bit wide out of that fast right-hander. It's going to lose a bit of time. This Coin is not going to make a mistake through there like she usually has. This gap is coming down. She has him in her sights. They're coming into the final sector of the track. This is going to get intense, folks. It's coming down to the wire. As I believe Spools has won the race at Catalunya. Now there's a 10-minute timer before the race ends to give people time to finish, but also to make sure we don't last all day. And here they come. GameStop are already on his final lap, already halfway around the track almost. Wait, is he on his final lap? He is. Oh my goodness, he's way ahead. Alright, and they're on the final lap. Ghost and Coin, here's the final run through the final lap, and we'll see how close this gets. They still have a pretty big margin. Oh, and Ghost is going to make a big mistake into turn 1 that final lap. Pressure is going to get to him. He's going to make a big mistake, and the gap is going to come down significantly. He's still pretty wide, but that was a large mistake. It's going to cost a lot of pace. If Coin keeps it clean and keeps everything on track, she might be able to just barely catch up to him, and I don't know if she's going to be able to catch him. And Ghost is going to let the pressure get to him. He's going to run off in the fast left-hander, fast right-hander, and Coin's going to swoop on by on the final lap. On the final lap. Coin swoops on by. 2 simple mistakes anyone could have made, and they both happened on the final lap for Ghost, unfortunately, cracking under pressure. It came down to the wire. And GameStopper finished in a solid 4th place. And here they come through the final chicane. I think that was revenge for Blind Ace getting me in the final chicane and the MX-5's Laguna Seca. That was my comeback season. And Coin crosses the line to finish 5th? Yes, 5th. And Ghost finishing 6th. Here's the final race results. It's a little bit different from what we saw due to a few things happening. Spools got disqualified for illegal race parts, so he was put... He did not score any points today. We have 2 DNFs, a Death Row Toll and LMP Juicebox from disconnections. So here is the official final results. First place we have Bomber. 2nd, Dakota Man. 3rd, GameStopper, who has his first podium of the season. I believe this is his first podium in this server, the new server, or this year. 4th, Coinsy. 5th, Ghost and Me. 6th was Venom. Venom was an imposter. If you remember from the last video, they are fake. Don't worry about it. We've dealt with it. 7th, Reisky. And the extra lap point reward goes to Bomber with a 1 minute 21 seconds to .216. And here's the championship standings. We actually have the points because I remembered to screenshot them. I'm sorry that it took till week 3 to get these in. But in first, we have Bomber with 53 points. Followed up pretty close behind is Coinsy with 47.5 points. Dakota Man following in third with 34.5, GameStopper with 29 points, Spools with 27, Juicebox with 20, Death Roll with 19.5, Venom with 19.5, Bagel with 13, Epic Tommy tied for 10th with Ghost in Me for 11th. 12th is BattleBots, 13th is Reisky, and 14th is Toasty with 0 points. Thank you all for watching. If you're interested in joining our league or participating or watching live, check the Twitch channels of every user who was involved with their POVs. Will be in the description, as well as our Discord server invite. So please join us. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time.